Hi, I'm Jonathan Cast, and this is Global Script. So I want to talk about Global Script a little bit today. Global Script per se is a typesetting system. The motto is think script as in PostScript, not script as in JavaScript. So I want to talk about how do you actually write documents in Global Script. And then this is going to reflect on Global Script-based programming languages for things like error messages. You'll see similar things come up with respect to templating systems and things of that nature. So what does a Global Script document look like? Well, Global Script is based on logical markup. You've got different kinds of documents that you can write based on semantic markup. So like LaTeX, there's a lot of similarities to LaTeX. You've got books, articles. Global Script will typeset individual chapters for you, which is probably more useful for books than feeding the whole book into the thing. So the macro character in Global Script is the Unicode section symbol character. And then you want to start the first macro is a type declaration. So you want to say section symbol and then article, book, chapter, whatever you want. And so then titles, I want to try to, the syntax in Global Script really tries to minimize the number of characters that you have to actually type in order to make things work. So the title, you just include right after the article interpolation. You need a space so we can see the end of the macro call. And then everything else is the title until either we get to a blank line or we get to another macro that we know is not part of the title. So one macro that you're going to need in most of your standalone documents is your author macro. Again, like LaTeX. And then again, the author is just all the text after the author macro until we get to a paragraph break. So put a blank line in. And then we'll put our paragraph text in. So section symbol for macros, sectioning commands, article, section, subsection, chapter, book, don't take an argument for the title. The title is all the text until the next paragraph break. That also makes the syntax a little bit simpler because we don't have to talk about what happens if there isn't a paragraph break. Right, there will be, because that's how you can tell when the title is over. If you're familiar with LaTeX, a lot of the ideas will be fairly similar. So a few little tweaks, a few things that are done a little bit differently. Environments. Environments work in a way that's maybe more familiar, if you're familiar with the lambda calculus. If you say itemize, it's an E. If you say itemize everything after this macro is part of the itemized list. So you've got an item, you've got some text, got another item, you've got some text, and so on. Then, if you don't want the whole rest of the document to be part of this itemized list, then what you do is you say begin itemize, and then wherever you want it to end, you say end. So you don't have to repeat itemize. That you could disagree about whether that's a good idea or not, but that's how GlobalScript does it. And so tables work the same way. GlobalScript allows you to say begin display and then whatever you put in here will be set as a special, not logically a paragraph, it's logically part of the enclosing paragraph, but special text offset from the regular paragraph. So then, you can make the body of that display be a math environment. This appeals to me as a programmer because it's more orthogonal. And that's another major concern that we have in GlobalScript is we want things to be orthogonal so that instead of having one macro or one environment that does displays and does math typesetting all at the same time, we have a display environment and a math environment. And then if the body of your display environment happens to be one big math environment, that's okay. And so this is one place where having the begin and end work the way they do makes a lot of sense, because conceptually this is still one big environment that's a display math environment, even though display and math are two different macros. So display is scoped from this begin to this end. Math extends as far as possible, but it can't extend past this end, so it stops there implicitly. Semantic markup. One thing that semantic markup will do, if you're a mathematician, you know that you like to write things like you're mathematicians who use cursive all the time. If so you've got some variable, x is greater than or equal to. We want to have great Unicode support in GlobalScript. So you've got some random equation here. Then in GlobalScript, the punctuation that goes after this equation goes outside of the display because semantically it's not part of this math expression. Right? If this was inline math with dollar signs, you'd just write like that. But typographically, it's considered better to put the comma inside the display. So what happens is the display environment will actually check for punctuation right after the environment and eat the punctuation and move it on display inside the display, but it's not part of your math. So that's pretty neat. So there's not really a point or a punchline to this video. That's just a couple of the ideas that I have, things I want to implement for GlobalScript as far as typesetting is concerned. So love it, hate it, want to see it, don't want me to ever implement this. Let me know whatever your reaction is in the comments. I want to hear it. And I will see you next time.